Hey friends, and welcome to another episode of Piano TV. So today I wanted to talk to you about the pentatonic scale, which is a super useful scale if you're interested in jamming or improvising or things like that. Even if you're just all by yourself, it's super helpful. So what I want to do is talk about the theory of pentatonic scales. I want to give you guys some examples of famous songs that use them, and I want to show you how I would apply it at the piano. So let's get started. So first things first, what is a pentatonic scale? So for those of you who remember math class, penta means 5, so a pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale. And it's incredibly common in all different genres all around the world. And if you're a guitar player at all, you've probably learned a pentatonic scale as well, because it's used a lot in guitar music. So for the interest of brevity, I'm not going to rattle off every single genre that you can hear pentatonic scales featured, but they are really prominent in folk music, whether it's Western or Eastern, like Chinese folk songs. They're really common in rock, in blues, in jazz, in gospel, any of those American folk genres as well. So basically all music everywhere. There are even certain instruments that are designed around the pentatonic scale, like the Japanese shakuhachi flute, which has 5 holes, each tuned to a note of the pentatonic scale. The most common type of pentatonic scale, at least in Western music, is called an hematonic. And basically all that means is that it's a scale with no semitones. So for example, the most common pentascale can be formed by deleting the 4th note and the 7th note from any regular major scale. So if you're talking about C major scale, which has no sharps or flats, you'd be deleting an F and you'd be deleting a B. And then what you're left with is 5 notes, C, D, E, G, A. So a C major pentatonic scale on the piano would be C, D, E, G, A. So as a piano player, probably the easiest way to remember how a pentatonic scale works is to look at the black keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't know if you see where I'm getting at, but there's 5 notes in pentatonic scale. There are 5 black keys, and the black keys form a pentatonic scale, which is really handy. So if you start on a G flat, you have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, right? G flat, A flat, B flat, D flat, E flat. So figuring out how to do a pentatonic scale using the black keys is usually where I start, even though C major pentatonic scale is pretty easy too, but the black keys alone are just so much easier to visualize. So now that you have an understanding on how the pentatonic scale is formed, I want to show you a few musical examples, and they're going to be kind of diverse, and then you can get a sense of what the flavor of a pentatonic scale is. So because it's me, the first example is going to be a classical one, but it's an amazing tune. It's by Chopin. It's one of his etudes. And if you haven't listened to his etudes, you're like seriously missing out. They're amazing. So we're going to listen to his black key etude, which is, as you might expect, based on the black key pentatonic scale, which is kind of handy. It's more formally known as his Opus 10 number 5 etude. So let's take a listen. So we're going to rapid fire a few more modern songs as examples, just so you can get a sense of it. But there's like literally thousands upon thousands of songs that are based on pentatonic scales. So this is just like a tiny fragment of that. So we're going to listen to a little bit of jazz, a little bit of rock, and some folk music for good measure.
Summertime and the living is easy.
The awesome thing about pentatonic scales and why they're so amazing for jamming is without any of the semitones, like the 4ths and the 7ths, it becomes really hard to hit a wrong note when you're jamming. So say your guitarist is like jamming a little tune in C major, like maybe like a really pretty little arpeggiated pattern, and it's your job as a piano player maybe to pluck out a melody, or maybe you're singing or whatever it is. So you really cannot go wrong with the 5 pentatonic notes. So again, looking at the C major ones, C, D, E, G, A. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So in my left hand, I'm going to play a simple chord pattern, just going back to the arpeggiated thing. I'll probably alternate between like C major, maybe I'll go to A minor, just go to some basic chords in the key of C. So once I get that going, my right hand is going to improv a tune using the 5 pentatonic scale notes. Very simple, but it really didn't sound like I hit anything wrong. Like it was very pleasant, and I was just kind of hitting random notes, to be honest. But look what would happen if I snuck in like an F or a B. You're gonna find that it's just gonna make the sound a lot more tense, and it sounds good to use them, but pentatonic scales are just so much simpler to make things sound good. So listen to when I throw in an F and a B. There's so much more tension once I start getting those in there. I know the way I was playing it didn't really sound natural, but I just wanted to illustrate a point. So let's just take a minute to talk about minor pentatonic scales, because what we've been doing so far are the major pentatonic scales. They're actually super, super easy to figure out as long as you remember how to transform a major key into a minor one. So all you got to do, let's use G flat as our example since it's such a straightforward pentatonic scale. To find its minor equivalent, all you have to do is hop down 3 semitones. So I'm starting here, G flat. 1, 2, 3, I land on E flat. So G flat major is the same as E flat minor. Those are like the major minor equivalents. So this is where it's nice and simple. The E flat minor pentatonic scale uses all the same notes as the major pentatonic scale, just in a little bit of a different order. So whereas the G one goes like this, the E flat one still uses all those notes, but instead of having 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, you have 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. And I mean, you can do the same thing really easily with the C pentatonic scale. So figuring out what the minor equivalent of C is, take C, hop down 3 semitones, 1, 2, 3. We're going to start on an A instead. So it's going to be all the same notes, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G. The exact same notes. So nice and easy to figure those out. It's also, the minor pentatonic scale is also super similar to the standard blues scale, which is another really good scale to know if you're into improvising. And that concludes today's discussion on pentatonic scales. Hopefully that will give you an idea of how they're useful, and I highly encourage you to head over to your piano and have a little improv jam session with yourself and see if you can come up with anything that sounds good. I'm also going to do a piano tutorial coming up here with a song based on a pentatonic scale, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching this video. Send it a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bat cat. She did not like that song.